Welcome back to the GSTL. I am Wolf, and with me today is Kaldor. We've got a great match coming up. We've got FXOpen against oGs-TL. We've got a lot of fans in the audience today, a lot of foreign fans as well. And FXOpen definitely the favorite today. We'll see what oGs-TL can pull out.
Yeah, today will be a very, very great day. We have a lot of good players here. Only 2 players are missing, 1 for each team. So today is going to be awesome. And yeah, we're so excited about the matches that I actually arrived 2 hours ahead of schedule today.
Yeah, I'm sorry when I texted you. I was like, let's meet at the cafe. I didn't mean at that moment. I'm sorry if I set like the thing into motion for you to be early. I don't know if that was my fault.
It was really funny. The past few weeks, every time we had a cast together, we met up at one of the cafes near the GOMTV studio earlier and just discussed the groups a little bit or the games of the day. So today he texted me again and was like, yeah, I'm going to be at the cafe later on. And I was like, awesome, okay, going to meet you there. So I left the GOM house, went to the cafe and waited there for half an hour, 40 minutes, roughly 50 minutes. And Wolf still wasn't there. So I was like, what is going on? And I looked at my watch and I was like, okay, it's only half an hour left. I have to go to the studio now. Probably he's already there. Arrived, nobody was here, and I realized that I was 2 hours ahead of schedule, so I completely mixed up the times.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad. Sorry about that.
That's definitely not your fault.
Well, here are our stats on these 2 teams. Neither team has a record above 50%. You can see they haven't really been able to break through in GSTL just yet.
And both captains are missing today. Oz and the STC are both missing. Both of them are not here today. They're both in America.
Yep, that's very true. Our coaches are here, though. Consider that. Of course, they'll be able to give their players advice on their matches. But yeah, you're exactly right. The STC and Oz both missing, both key players, I would say, for these teams. Especially the STC. I feel like his being missing from oGs-TL leaves much more of a hole than Oz being missing. Oz being missing takes away perhaps one of the best Protoss players ever seen, perhaps even one of the best in the world right now. But that's you know, not too big of a deal when you have players like Lenok on your team. And here are our players walking out now. The winner prediction puts FXOpen at 63.2%, so looks like fans who voted on GOMTV.net really think FXOpen's going to take it today.
It's not going to be easy, though. We have oGs-TL with 6 Code S players in their lineup, whereas FXO only has 3, and 1 of them is missing today.
Very true indeed. We'll see who is going to take it out. Here's our oGs team getting prepped and getting ready.
To be fair, oGs-TL has only 5 Code S players here today, as the STC, obviously also in Code S, is currently in the US, as we just mentioned before.
Yep. These players are at MLG right now, for those of you guys wondering why they're missing. They're attending MLG Columbus. And here's our FXOpen team, a very close-knit team. I was once part of that team, in fact, so I know a lot of these players really well. The team has changed a lot since I left, but they still have the same core values and still have Choya, who, by the way, will be our starting player for FXOpen. You can see him walking to the booth now.
Exactly. We will see Choya in a Protoss versus Protoss, as he is up against Inca today. Yep. So we have the first Code S player of oGs-TL. And we have a quick look at the lineups today. oGs, the STC, Code S, but not present. We have Top, another Terran player, Code B.
And of course, here is Finn, otherwise known as 4GG, a real key player. And Supernova showing some awesome TBT in his up and down group.
He was sleeping earlier in the oGs.
He was.
It was so funny. Everybody was just pumped up, and Supernova was just leaning back and having a nap.
You can see some of our Protoss here. Inca, hero Vines. Vines being a key player in the Team League for this season. And Zenio, of course, a newer addition to TL. And Lovesick, known for his cool glasses. And here's Juke2. He's been around a while. Never really been able to prove himself too much, but still a solid player overall, a great practice partner for the team. So there they are. There's Sazan on the left. Oh, I heard, actually, you know, earlier I was talking about don't put that near your mouth, because a lot of people were telling me don't do this. You know, it's really dangerous, the chemicals and whatnot. but I did some research and it turns out it's pretty much okay actually. None of the chemicals that are actually that bad for you. It's actually fine to put in your mouth. That's what I heard. Twitter gave me some information. I did some research privately. So it's okay for Hero to be doing that right now. Maybe his face is a little bit cold. I used to do stuff like that too with my hot pack if ever my face felt cold, you know? But the thing is, people always yell at me, oh no, don't do that. But it's fine. It's fine. It's okay, guys. Don't worry.
I never tried to eat the stuff or put it into my face or mouth, so I can't really
never
give
put
you
it
an
in my
opinion
mouth,
about it.
but I've put it on the side of my face before.
Okay.
Alright, here is our FXOpen team. Our coach with
starting player today, and
yeah.
he played very well the last time that he started for his team. And this is Oz at MLG.
GSL ranked 9th. He's very highly ranked. There's Tier, a fairly new addition to the team. And ASD, very well known. And there is the best. He's pretty well known as well.
Seen him in a while in the team league though. Gumiho, on the other hand, we've definitely seen him in one of the Code S players for the team at XD, formerly known as Innate Master.
Yep. There is Lenok,
who has a new hair color, by the way.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's exactly true. It's not as, you know, the color you just saw there is not as correct. Now here's Whale.
I actually started to pay way too much attention to the guys' hair colors and hairstyles after you just talked about it all that time. So the first thing that I realized today was like, Lenok, you colored your hair. There it is. Yep. All black now.
Very true. And there is our race distribution win by race. Now, I actually noticed that in the makeup room when Supernova, you mentioned he was sleeping earlier, but when he was in the makeup room, he and the makeup girl had this connection. Not to say that it was a romantic connection, but I could just see the excitement on the makeup woman's eyes when she called him over, and he just jumped out of his chair and he walked over and she started to work on his hair, and I really feel like Supernova, excuse me, not Supernova, Top, this is about Top. Top's hair, man, he changes it so much, but he actually changes his hairstyle in such a way where he looks like a cooler guy every time, but then sometimes he can take his hair back a notch where it's like, okay, now he looks a little bit more professional, but he still looks cool. And I feel like the makeup ladies really appreciate that about Top's hairstyle. And I just want to share that experience I had today when I was going in to the makeup room to change. I just saw they had this connection. And so that's just some extra facts about Top, who actually I expect to see play today. I think Top will actually come out today.
I think we'll definitely have a very, very intense series today. This is not going to be easy for either one of the teams. FXO is right now the fan favorite with 60, what do you say, 63?
I think it was 68 or something like that, like something really high.
Yep.
Well, here is Inca, our starting player. He only played one time this particular season, I believe, and he came out to finish off his opponent in a PvP match where he won with Dark Templar. We'll see what he ends up doing today. He's obviously really well known for his Dark Templar play. We'll see what he chooses in this particular PvP.
He played against Puzzle. This is the match that you were just talking about. We saw him again in the GSTL playing against Monster, but he lost the match against the third player of MVP.
Now here is Choya, a player who's really in shape right now. Actually just recently requalified. He's now in Code A, so we'll be seeing him there.
And he did very well in the GSTL as well. He was playing against Slayers, obviously, and he won not only against Ryan, but he took down MMA, which was really a huge upset for the Slayers team.
Yeah, nobody expected that. That was a really exciting match. Go back and watch that and get the VODs. Now, we'll see what strategies these players employ. I've been watching a lot of PvP recently. We actually both just casted the Fnatic tournament, the MSI Invitational, and it was actually quite interesting to see how many PvPs we saw and the different styles.
There was one DT match that I will probably never forget. Oz against Hero on Cloud Kingdom, both of them going for DTs without robotics, without detection, and it was just so funny. DT was by excellence, was really nice.
It all comes down to decision making in that type of situation. Now our first map is going to be Calm Before the Storm. Now this is awesome because we could see anything here. I've even seen Protoss try to Forge Fast expand on this map. Anything is possible.
Killa tried to Forge First expand last season and he failed against Harding, but it could have worked. It could actually have worked. Killa misplaced one of his cannons a tiny little bit.
Yep.
And if not for that, he could have won the match. But especially with Choya, we can definitely see anything on this map. Anything can happen. He had the GSTL. oGs-TL versus FXOpen. Starting to the bottom right of the map for oGs-TL, the Protoss player in the red color. It is none other than
oGs-TL Inca!
Inca is a little bit underappreciated. I think a lot of people don't think that he's actually good, but he has been in Codes for ages. He's facing the Code A player, he is facing the starting player for FXO, starting to the top left, cross-positioned on Calm Before the Storm. Starts
FXO Choya!
in the blue color.
Yep, something I wanted to mention to you guys about today's setup is we actually do not have an observing computer today, so we won't be able to give you guys 100% information about everything that's going on at any given moment, but you'll be able to see a lot. FXO heighting, he also says FOU there at the top, and something about Choya, I couldn't quite read it fast enough because I was trying to find out who was the man behind the sign. I didn't know if it was a foreign fan or not. I think it might have been. We'll have to see. But see, now both players getting their gases around the same time, and the gateway timing fairly similar. Can't check exactly how similar. It looks like an earlier scout for Inca, no scout from Choya.
This map is a lot about gambling as well. You can try so many different strategies. You can try to get super greedy.
That's Leonok and the Octopus for life. San Diego Hearts Esports. TL fighting. But yeah, you're exactly right.
Especially with Choya on this map, you never know what happens. We've seen Choya start with, not in this matchup, but in general we've seen him with proxy robotics and proxy colossi plays. So Choya definitely a player that likes to take some risks. And right now we see them both with just exactly the same build, both going for the cybernetics core.
Yeah, but double gate.
Yeah, we have a second, exactly.
Yeah, Choya getting the double gate, so he's also taking a second gas right now, as you can see on the production tab. So he will be doing probably a 3-stalker rush, which allows him to pressure, and as many pros are doing right now in Korea, he may be able to force his way up the ramp and scout what his opponent is up to. Especially because he considers the fact that since he's already scouted his opponent, he can see, I believe he was able to scout. I can't actually check, but I'm pretty sure a probe went out there. So because of this, I think he knows his opponent got a later second gateway or none at all, so he'll be able to pressure. Now, we're going to see perhaps with how much chrono energy he has. He only has one gas. He's chronoing the warp gate research. Yeah, I think we're going to see him hide his gateways over there and go for a 4-warp gate. Nothing else makes sense at this point.
You have double stalker production now for Choya, who wants to have some units out on the map, but I think you're perfectly right, Will. This is probably what's
going on. Actually, oh my god. You know what's so weird? I was thinking about this morning when I was taking a shower. I was like, I used to proxy robos in the beta to do immortal pushes, and I was like, that could come back with the current style of PvP. I wonder if that's what will happen. But actually, it's not going to be for that, man. It's going to be for a warp prism.
I think so too, but it's going to be scouted.
It will be scouted.
Nice.
Oh, wow. But even though he sees it, will he be able to stop it? He's actually targeting the robo instead of the pylon.
He should just kill the pylon.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird.
And here we go. It starts to attack the pylon right away, but picks off the probe first. Very important.
Yeah, and now there's no other forward pylon, so this is a really tough spot. Will he cancel? He has to cancel. Well, it's not going to be for proxy immortals, that's for sure.
Very well done by Choya at this point. He's one of those players who really likes to get sneaky, and this time he was able to defend against it. He just made sure that he had all the scouting information that he needed, and forces his opponent, forces Inca now to take an expansion. So expansions for both of these players at this point.
Yeah, now Choya has built up a larger sentry count than his opponent. There's a robo going down for Choya as well. No robotics just yet for Inca. He doesn't have enough gas. He had to make his own sentries after that attack. And he's going to go for Twilight Tech. This does allow him a lot more mobility.
Inca with a Twilight Tech.
Yeah. It allows him to have a lot more mobility. He only lost a few resources from that cancel on the robo and losing the pylon, but what he really lost was time on his Robo, and now for him to go Robotech, if his opponent had been taking up quickly, he'd be so behind, so he needs that mobility from the Twilight Council. He thinks, I've got to get Blink Stalkers or something to get ahead in another way, because if he's just going straight up one-base Colossi, if I try to do the same, then I'm going to get behind. Even if I have a Nexus, he will probably have a Nexus as well. I like the decision to go Twilight Tech here. It's just going to be curious to see what he does with it. It looks like we may have a Dark Shrine hidden. I don't know why else there would be a pylon at that location. He is getting Blink, though.
I think it was a pylon for Choya, wasn't it? I actually can't check it on the mini-map because it's not visible, but I think it was a pylon from Choya. The Blink tech now just started.
Oh, you're right. It is Choya's pylon. Okay.
I would have been really surprised if we would have seen a Dark Shrine at this point in time.
Yeah, because it's so really weird. I don't know what the pylon over there is for Choya. In fact, we'll find out very soon, though. There is the Robo for Inca. He needs that to be safe. There's already an Immortal on the way for Choya, as you can see. Making more Zealots, and that mystery pylon over there is still very much a mystery.
Yeah, it's a little bit far off, so I don't know exactly what he wants to do with it, but he
this is so smart.
This is Choya. This is just Choya, how we love him. It's exactly what you could expect. We didn't know what exactly he would try to pull, but it's just his style. It's just his style to try to do some unorthodox strategy that's going to surprise his opponent. He starts with the double Stargate, with the double...
We all know he's sitting in his booth right now talking to himself about it too. He's like, I can do this. He's like, do I really have the economy to support double Stargate? He's like, yeah, I do. He's like, I shouldn't worry about that. Why would I worry about such a thing? He's like, do I make Phoenixes to harass the probes, or do I make Void Rays to kill my opponent if he goes Colossi? It's gonna be Phoenixes. That's such a smart choice. Yeah, with double Stargate on 2 base, you can't really support Void Rays in this matchup because you can't have enough support units for them if you do that. If you catch your opponent off guard with it, you can just win, but it's too risky. And even Phoenixes here is fairly risky, but it's going to allow him to scout and also kill so many probes of his opponent.
Oh, the one Stalker just links back in time.
Yep. Kills the neutral depot here.
And he's actually moving out right now. He's getting a lot of Phoenixes. They are not scouted, so at this point, Inca has no idea what's going to happen. And when those Phoenixes start to attack and take down probes, then he might lose a ton of his economy. I don't think that he will be able to respond to this in time, as most of the Stalkers are outside of the base already.
You're exactly right. And not only that, not only his economy will be lost, but since his opponent knows now with this Observer what's going on and where his units are positioned, he's probably going to go pick off sentries at the front. The Stalker blinks in to scout, but there's nothing to see here in the main.
There are just 2 gateways in the back, nothing that he can actually scout, you're right, and Choya pulls all his force off, and at this point Inca must know that there's something fishy going on. Yeah,
he's got to realize that there's not enough units here, there's not enough production, he's got to be hiding something. More Phoenix is being produced, Colossi are on the way, but that's not going to be very useful here. Look at that, it's only getting worse. Yep.
Wow.
This is such a cool strategy by Choya right now.
And the thing is that Inca is not going to suspect this. He might be able to just determine by what he saw in the main base of Choya that something's going on, but I would be really surprised if he would realize what's going to happen here.
I think he suspects a hidden third base, and that's why he's sending his Stalkers around right now. That's what I would suspect in this case. I wouldn't expect double Stargate tech, but he is checking for it, and he may be able to find it, but I think the fact of the matter is it's just too late. Exactly. He's trying to get double Forge now because he's like, oh, my opponent might have a third base. How can I get ahead? I need to get upgrades faster than him. And he's checking everywhere with his Stalkers right now, but he just cannot find it.
And he has so many Phoenixes already. There are like 12 of them at this point, and he's now just moving in. Oh my god, look at this expansion. Dead. Yes, they are. He has no chance of saving them.
Exactly right. There are 12 Phoenixes out on the map, and here they go.
The Graviton beams go off, and he takes down every single one of these probes. Heading into the main base, he might just be able to take down these. Yep, he does. He takes down the Colossi. Both of them are going to die.
Wow. He can actually fight those Stalkers. I don't think he knows it, but he gets out anyways. It's too late with the other Stalkers coming in. He can't stick around much longer, but he can go in for more probes. He has so many lifts available here.
Oh my god, this is just sick. And Inca at this point in time, he's kind of forced to attack here.
Yep, his strategy was scouted from the beginning. It really messed him up, and now Inca has so much to defend.
And the problem is that all those Colossi are dead, so he can't really come up the ramp. He can't walk up the ramp if he can only try to blink up. That's the only thing that he can do, but at this point, all the Immortals that he has will be stuck at the bottom.
Yep.
There's no Colossi to kill the force fields.
He's trying to force him to come back with his Phoenixes. I feel like that may be a misstep in this case because that's a lot of energy not used. But to be quite frank with you, Keldor, with how many units that Choya has back at home without the Phoenix lifts to defend, I think he'll still be fine, even if his opponent has Blink, which he does in this case. So, oh man, is Inca in a tough spot here. He's in a very awkward position. Another Stalker gets picked off.
Very well played by Choya here. And Inca will have a hard time. Even if he blinks up the ramp with his Stalkers, then he will face the Immortals, and the Stalkers won't be able to use the Blink to retreat.
Some feedback's going off on these Phoenixes, but it's not enough.
They're out of energy now, though. Can't use the Graviton Beam any longer. Choya needs to be careful here. He's losing too many shields on the... So look at the Workers kill. 29 to 2. Wow, even getting another base now. We have Choya taking his third.
Yeah, and he's getting his Colossi up as well. The only thing that Inca has going for him right now is upgrades. He's got his upgrades on the way, but that's just not going to be significant enough with the amount of Colossi that Choya will have in his army, plus the supply lead that he's going to have when the battle commences. So this is going to be just so tough and so scary for Choya, or rather for Inca to defend. And Choya's army is just out of control. His range is almost done. He's going to have charge as well. He's adding a second robotics because he knows he can support that off of 3 bases. Look at the income, but that's just not even the real story here at this point.
The problem for Inca is that he will have a tough time. He can't really play with the Colossi at this point because he knows exactly that his opponent has way too many Phoenixes, so he has to rely on the Archons.
Yep.
But Choya is now going for extended thermal lens. He has charge ready, so he can use whatever attack he pleases to use.
You're exactly right. Now remember, because Archons are technically massive units now, they cannot be lifted, so he's using the Archon to ward off the Phoenixes here. Ooh, good hits on these Phoenixes. One does go down, and he has 1/1 upgrades now. Yes, 2 Immortals at a time.
2 Immortals at a time for Inca, while Choya is now opening a new tech tree with the Temple Archive. He wants to get some Immortals into the game as well, but he's producing double Colossi at the same time.
Yeah, see, here's what's happening now at this point is the double Colossi for Choya. Inca feels like, I've got to add some Immortals in the mix. I can't add Colossi, but the problem is Choya has so many Zealots and he also has charge. It's just going to be so difficult. Look at that, 20 Zealots on the unit tab there.
The damage output for Choya is just going to be insane. And yes, he's ignoring the cannon, he's microing his units quite well, and he's taking down once again a probe after probe after probe, taking down 38 workers in total, which is really insane. Choya has about 5, yes, he does have 5 Colossi at this point, and he has such a huge army.
Yeah.
Getting the +1 attack upgrade now. Well, Inca is still a little bit ahead in upgrades, but that's basically the only thing that Inca really has going for.
And he's not going to be ahead for that much longer in attack upgrades, which is the most important upgrade in PvP. And consider also, if you saw those just gates, he's got 4 more gates in production in the main. That means it's time for Choya to attack. He wants to have a huge reinforcement ability, and he's already built that.
Just look at the numbers. We have 20 Zealots, we have 2 or 3 Immortals. This is definitely going to be a very big problem for Inca. Defending against this is going to be so difficult.
Those Immortals will be lifted immediately by the Phoenixes when the battle commences. Phoenixes do not activate the shields. He'll lose all of his Phoenixes very quickly, but that won't matter because the Colossi are going to be the real damage dealers
6
here.
Colossi. 6 against 2, and here we go. The Phoenixes trying to snipe one of the Colossi, but oh my god, that Colossi of Choya doing so much damage here, taking apart everything, but the Stalkers trying to get into position.
Oh,
nice blink by Inca.
Will it be enough?
This might exactly be what he needs here.
It's going to be hard to say, but with more reinforcements coming in for Choya, I think Inca is pretty much out of it. The Colossi going down to Phoenixes now, Immortals being lifted again, and Blink was not enough.
It was definitely not enough, Wolf. Choya is taking this game. Inca lost his army, is going to lose his 3rd base as well. 3 Colossi are left, a ton of Stalkers, and once again Choya with one of his sneaky spill taking a major leak in this game. Inca trying to defend here, but this is a losing battle that he's fighting right now. He's losing his last Colossi, and this is going to be it. Very well played by Choya. Inca, GG's! And Choya takes the first point here.
Nice scouting by Choya, a good defense. and all-around safe play. The Phoenixes were actually, in my opinion, quite safe because even if Inca scouted them, how does he reply? He has to switch his tech, and then Choya can actually just stop producing Phoenixes if he wants. He can do anything. The Phoenixes, once they're there, once they're on the map, he can do anything with them. And to make the choice to actually start the Stargates, he was ahead at that point, so it wouldn't have really put him, at the worst case scenario, it would have put him on even footing, but instead it put him so far ahead, and then he just matched his opponent's composition, outmatched it, in fact, was able to scout everything with the Phoenixes, and this puts OGS in a tough position after game 1.
Choya's actually becoming one of the ace players of FXO, and the GSTL he's just doing so well. It's incredible, and once again, winning the opening match.
Starter, I think. I really love the use of Choya as a starter in FXOpen. You know, Choya is the coach who makes these decisions, but he talks to a lot of other players about this within the team. For example, Slog, who used to be on FXOpen, would talk to him quite frequently about this. You know, who do we start with? Who are we going to use? Unstable, for example, and the coaches, he talks to them quite often about it as well. And, you know, for Choya to start, they decide this often. Choya should start because his PvP is decent. His other matchups are decent. He's just an all-around good guy to start with. And, you know, if you're the captain, you're the coach, basically, of the team, you come out, I mean, obviously, Oz is technically the captain, but to be in Choya's position, he has a lot of captain-like roles. He's like the leader, you know? He's like the guy steering the ship, and he just wants to start things off right at the first game, and I think he's done just that here today. And even if Choya loses the first game, he goes back to his team and says, all right, we've got a backup plan, it's fine. And to hear your coach say that is something that's really refreshing. So I love the choice to use Choya first as much as FXOpen does.
Yeah, he's also a very, very good sniper, which is something that we've seen in the past. He just loves, for example, Calm Before the Storm, a map where he pulled off a lot of his wins. And yeah, it's going to be tricky for OGS now. They are behind one game, and this is exactly what you try to avoid in the early game. Obviously, losing a match is pretty tough in a best of 9, but losing the opening match is always annoying as you're on the back foot.
Who's it going to be? Oh, pulling out 4GG pretty quickly here. Not wasting any time.
Not at all.
Choya looks like he is ready. He's even licking his lips, man. Whoa. Oh, giving him a finger wave. Ready to take him down. Oh, man. Consider, guys, whoever wins this match today will be going to the semifinals.
Exactly, the semifinals next week.
Yep. And, of course, whoever wins the semifinals will be going to the finals in Las Vegas. Just consider that, if you've forgotten. You can see Finn currently ranked 17th in the GSL. It's a pretty high ranking considering how few games he's played compared to a lot of other players.
And he did very well against Protoss lately. He was able to win in the GSL against Huck, against Killer, and against Brown in the up and down matches.
Yeah, he looked so good there.
Also win against Classic in the IGN Pro League. It's been quite a while since he lost to a Protoss player, so he's been doing very well.
Yeah, indeed he has. It's going to be pretty tough for Choya to win here, I think. As Choya has shown some weaknesses in this matchup. But we are going to take a 5-minute break, guys. When we get back, we'll have this game, some coach interviews, and more. So don't go anywhere. This is the GSTL with Caldor and Wolf.